time to welcome these amazing women to the stage. First, Melody Joy Short. She is going to be interviewed by her lovely partner in all things, Adrian. Whoops, I think we're a little too close. I'm going to step over here just for a second, and then I'm going to hand Melody this mic. I don't think in so many circles that Melody needs a whole lot of introductions, except for the fact that she is one of those people that I stalked silently for many, many years, and then we finally got to actually connect. And meeting her was one of those joys that I just can't even describe, because it was so effortless and so simple to have such deep, meaningful connection and conversation with her that this topic just screamed Melody. So with that, I will hand over this mic, and thank you for being here today.
Awesome. Thank you. If I can say so, I'm kind of going out of order. I don't know if that it was that natural for me, but we have breakfast, and I'm in the space of not saying yes to everything when asked immediately, and it's very different for me. And so I knew I was going to say yes, but I was like, gotta honor the process, honor your new process. And I went on a walk the next morning. I said, I'll let you know before the week is out. And I went on a walk the next morning, and I checked my mail, and I never opened junk mail, but for whatever reason, I opened junk mail that day. And as I opened the envelope, the first word across the top of the envelope was simplicity. And so I texted Michelle the picture, and I said, oh, I guess that's a yes.
Awesome, awesome. It's so good to see so many familiar and new faces. And just so happy to sit here with my good sis, Melody. It's interesting that as I was thinking about Michelle's intro, we all know her in different ways, right? Whether it's through the trips on social media or being in her presence if she's ever cooked you a meal or you've just spent time with her. But we really wanted to open up in a really simple way. I think often as Black women in spaces, we don't have the opportunity to define ourselves, right? There's often an expectation that's there. And so my first question to you, Melody, is who is Melody Joy Short?
Well, I'll start off by also saying that I am not good with these large groups, so.
And I'll say you are.
Y'all be nice to me. So I am a daughter of Richmond, born and raised here in the city, in the West End to be exact. The real West End. Yeah, near Byrd Park. And so I left Richmond at 17 to go to college in Baltimore, Maryland. I attended Morgan State University. I graduated from the Earl Graves School of Business. That's important to me because Earl Graves was the founder of Black Enterprise magazine. And so there's a through line that I feel started at the university. And while there, I attended a conference at University of Maryland College Park. And it was a panel with individuals that were in the entertainment business. Never considered that path, but I have a degree in marketing. And there was a sister that worked for Sony Music on the panel. And she was talking about the work that she did. And I'm like, you get paid to do that? And it was so interesting to me. I grew up in a house where music just kind of took over. You pull up to the house, you're either hearing Lil Wayne in the driveway or one of Motown's greatest hits. My father, you just never know what you'll get with him. And so I said, oh man, this is interesting. So let me, apply for the position. She was transitioning out. And so ultimately I secured the position and worked for Sony Music my last 2 years of school. And they moved me to New York. So talking about simplicity, I didn't apply for a job for college. That's like your parents' dream. They send you to school and they want you to have a job leaving. And so I was offered a position and which led me to relocate to New York, which led me to relocate to Dallas. And then there was some change within the organization. And so I was out of work And I told the folks in Dallas, I said, I'm not living out here because it was very different from Brooklyn, super slow. The first black family that moved into the neighborhood that I worked in, which was called Highland Park, ironically, had just moved there 10 years prior. So that was just also weird to me, you know? And so I moved back to Brooklyn with no job, which is crazy. And I remember my father saying, you know, we raised you to go to college. You're supposed to be smart. Like, why are you living out here? That's stupid. It's so expensive. And so I took this path of just trying to figure out, like, what's my next. And so as a young teen, I was obsessed over Essence magazine. Always loved seeing women that looked like myself and my mom and my aunties within the pages. And so I knew the editor-in-chiefs like inside out. And Monique Greenwood opened this business, Aquaba Bed and Breakfast Inns. And so I said, let me go and see what this bed and breakfast thing is about. Let me just take a pause. You know, I didn't even know what a pause was in my early 20s. And she opened the door. And I was like, why is she opening the door? I just didn't have a concept of what operations would consist of. And so I'm gonna bring this out forward. You know, I sat in her presence. I was a guest at the bed and breakfast. And I said, this is a business. You know, this is what I do. You know, I welcome people in my home. I prepare, you know, light bites for them. I play music. And I said, she makes money off of doing the thing that I do all the time. And that kind of planted the seed. I said, you know what? I'm going to enroll myself in a program. It was a 10-week entrepreneurship program I enrolled myself in called Weibo in Brooklyn. And after completing that program, I'd like to think that I opened up, I mean, we call it Airbnb now, but I'd like to think, my friends are here, they're laughing. I'd like to think that I was the originator of that idea because I literally took the first floor of a brownstone, and I didn't own the brownstone, but, and I turned it into, it was called Melody Joy's Bed and Breakfast. And so I ran it on the weekends because in New York, you know, if any of you are from New York or live there at any point, you have to have multiple revenue streams to really survive. And so I turned it into a bed and breakfast, like completely illegal bed and breakfast. But you couldn't tell me anything. I mean, I had, you know, we curate art spaces together. We've been doing this for over 10 years, but in that apartment, I enlisted like all my friends that were artists, you know, that they're big time now, but then they're trying to figure it out. I'm like, put your artwork on my wall. If somebody stay here, they can buy it. And it's like, nobody's, you know. But that really, and so simplicity, right? It's like, it just felt like things have just kind of come with ease for me when it comes to workspaces. And I've been fortunate enough to do work that I love and enjoy. And so, you know, did that work, came back to Richmond, connected with Adrian. We wanted to create spaces that were similar to what we experienced elsewhere. And so that gave birth to Artisan Cafe and now Richmond Night Market, and now we're here.
Yes. Wow. Melody Joy's Bread and Breakfast. I love it. I wish I knew you at that point in your life, but I can see it. I can absolutely see it. Thanks for sharing so much, right? Just places you've been that might feel real heavy and complex to folks. I mean, you mentioned Texas and Brooklyn and Richmond and all of these places. But just thinking about simplicity and complexity too, right? Share a specific instance where you found simplicity within a complex situation.
I would say, so I am a single mother to a beautiful 15-year-old, Nia, who's here with us today. And so I think, you know, just parenthood in general is not easy, but to be a single parent, it's just kind of crazy. And I could have taken the path of, you know, just kind of wallowing in what was, but I knew that I couldn't spend a lot of time there. And so I essentially just chose the path of, you know, relying on what I knew to be a sure shot for me as a mother, as a single mother, and that was God and my village.
That's right.
Super simple, but not, but super simple.
Yeah.
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 Love you sharing that. I think sometimes we just see the the public persona, right? And just the go, the go, the go. And being someone that's in your circle, I know how important God and that village is to you. I meant not in the way you nurture us even, in that. It's a bit of a balancing act. If there's balance, I don't know, but it's more like a tightrope than a seesaw, but it's definitely a bit of a balancing act that I think you do so well. You mentioned Nia, you mentioned entrepreneurship and just efforts. Thinking about prioritizing time. Like, how do you prioritize your time, your resources, just to maintain that simplicity and really to focus on what really matters for you at home and in your business endeavors?
Well, I would say I'm a work in progress when it comes to that. But maybe a little over 4 years ago, the anxiety attacks started to get, resurface, and it just kind of got crazy. And I was feeling overworked. I traveled a lot with my job because I mentioned Aquaba Bed and Breakfast Inns, but what I didn't mention is that off and on for 15 years, I ended up working for the bed and breakfast. And so I moved back to Richmond and continued to do some work in some shape or form for the business. And they don't have locations here, so that required me to travel quite a bit. And I just remember just being overwhelmed, and I connected with Natasha, who's here, and Lucid Living was really a saving grace for me in a very real way. And she helped me really put together a rhythm of self-care, and Adrienne too, just kind of planting that seed to focus on your self-care. And so I started going to Lucid Living, and then out of that, there's a sister named Dawn Dixon, and she's out of Ohio, but I think she's in Ghana now. I heard her speak through a MBL, Metropolitan Business League program, and she talked about every month she would allow herself an extended weekend of no work, no taking phone calls, no checking emails. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I never heard anything like that. And I knew that I didn't have the space to do it monthly, but that's when I started to implement what I refer to as my quarterly pause. Super special to me, super important to me. I've been doing this for 3 years now. And it's where I intentionally take a moment. It could be an extended weekend, it can be something extravagant, out of the country, or it can just be a long weekend in, I think, California. It doesn't have to be all the things, but the point of it all is for me to kind of just rest and not be consumed with work. And so that's something that I've done for the past 3 years. I continue to do, but I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah. Oh, I want to also say, I've also started to focus more on my health. And so I got a trainer with Deja, she's here. And I would take my walks, and even to this day, I walk at least 4 days a week at minimum for 45 minutes to an hour. So yeah.
I love how you have taken again, how does she do that? And applied it to yourself in your own creative way. I want to look at these pictures. Where were you? What were you doing in these two photos?
The first one, I was in Napa. I love Napa. I love wine. And then the second one, I think I was in Puerto Rico.
Okay. Awesome. I hope you all, I'm inspired. I've been inspired by the quarterly pause, but she religiously does it, right? And the amount of just being refreshed, right? And coming back to a thing, you can really see the benefits of it. So thanks for sharing that, Mel. I think it's one thing to kind of talk about, but it's another thing to embrace, right? So with the podcast and the 1-minute videos on Instagram, and you feel so inspired to do a thing, getting from there to actually doing it, right, can be a thing. And so when we're thinking about just minimalism and just how you may have intentionally had to pull back to simplify things, wondering about your entrepreneurial journey, have you encountered moments where you really had to simplify your business strategy, your offerings, just really pull back and strip back and let go of some things?
Yeah, so two things come to mind. After the pandemic, we, for Richmond Night Market, we wanted to roll out all of these grand ideas at the market. And I don't know, I was kind of feeling like we need to get back to basics, you know? Like, we're coming out of a pandemic, let's do what we do and do it well, and not necessarily with all the bells and whistles. And so that's, you know, because people are still, we're still, you know, it's post-pandemic, but we're still trying to adjust to what life is ahead. And then I would say, like, this year, you know, for some of you all that know me closely, I mean, I would like to think that I just experienced an unwelcome sabbatical. And it's all good because these things happen in your life even when you don't think you need them, right? And so I would have it happen all over again. Now, I can say that now because it's positioning me to, and placing me in spaces that I never thought that I would be in. Just kind of welcoming the journey.
It's interesting as you say that. I'm thinking about what you just shared about the quarterly pause, right? And while that is a planned opportunity to reset, right? And then what you just shared even about this year, even the unplanned opportunity, more like a stop,
Yeah.
right?
Full stop.
A full stop to really redefine what simplicity looks like for you and what matters and what's important. And just the beauty that I've seen in that. So yeah, my mind is going. But thank you for sharing that. And you know, being the person who really experienced that with you on the Richmond Night Market side, it's yielded us well. I know we've got a few people on the team here. Shout outs to Brenda. I'm not sure who else is in the room. From Tanel's here.
He put his head down.
Okay. Hey, Tanel. Over there. You know, spending more time in what matters, our community.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
investing in our team.
Yep.
It's a lot of behind the scenes work that happens. And so I think just that pulling it back allows you to really see what matters. So I know we're Creative Mornings. We're talking about creatives. Naturally, creatives are going to draw from some bit of inspiration. Talk to us about just a source of inspiration or just a simple philosophy that's really stuck with you.
So too, of course, Monique Greenwood, owner of Aquaba Inns, mentor, friend, former boss, just being able to create something out of nothing. But then also my mom. And so I remember years ago, and I'm realizing this because of this space of like, you know, scaling down and all the things. I remember years ago, my mom, she left the public school system and started to work, like, for me, it felt like when she wanted to. And I was just kind of like, this is interesting. We're not, you know, we're not, I mean, I just didn't understand that. And I'm like, you know, she's of age to still work. And so why isn't she working? And so, you know, we call this now, this life of ease, it's the thing right now. I'm like, my mama been on that, like, long time ago. And what I realize now is that she was preparing space for her to do the things that she loves and enjoy, and also take care of her mom, and, you know, and so that's attractive to me now at this stage in the game. You know, like, how can I get to that space? But I didn't understand it at all. In fact, I was a bit upset. And I thought it was a bit selfish. I was just like, why is she not working? But now I get it, and there's this glide that she has that I aspire to have. She don't walk, she kind of like float. Like, she in the room now, she floats through spaces, but I think it's because she's intentionally chosen to create a life that was important to her. Not what the world say you're supposed to be as a wife, as a mom, as a Black woman, but the life that she wanted. And she didn't share those details with us, but now I get it. Yeah.
I want to just address and honor Mama Short, who's here right front row for her baby girl. Thank you. I think we experience and feel that ease with every interaction, and I'm a daughter by association, but it's actually true, and just what we learn from our elders, from our parents. So just thank you. Thank you for that. looking ahead, Melody, right, and just thinking about simplicity and legacy, how do you envision leaving a simple and impactful legacy for your family and then for the community?
My hope is that my work in and of itself is the legacy. And so I'll start with saying I believe that entrepreneurship is a path to freedom for Black people. And that's the path I'm on, freedom, right? And my hope is that, you know, alongside you, we continue to create spaces that position Black folk to have access to resources that allow for self-sufficiency, spaces where Black people can show up as their authentic selves, and just for Black joy. And so my hope is that the work that we do through the Richmond Night Market, the projects that kind of are underway, allows for just that. My hope is that my daughter fully, you know, like she is soaking all of this up and in, and that this serves as a foundation for the work that she does in her life.
Awesome. I know we'll do a little Q&A, but I know there's a quote that you wanted to make sure you left for folks before we could take any questions.
Yeah, this has kind of been sitting with me as of lately. So James Baldwin, throw everything out of your mind, read a little, sleep. The world will still be here when you wake up, and there'll still be everything left to do. And that's something that I've been telling myself, because I have been a person that will start my day with 20 plus tasks like crazy. You know, it's like, are you a crazy person? You know, it's like, and so it's like, what can really be left for the next day, the next week, the next month, right? Like, nobody died. You know, like really being able to better prioritize. So as we talk about simplicity, this is the energy I'm trying to be on.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I hope we stayed on time. I'm looking for cues. And so if there is any opportunity to do any Q&A from folks in the audience, any questions or thoughts? We'll go to Shannon first.
Hi.
Hey, Shannon.
So when I saw this topic, I was like, okay, I wish I could talk about it, because I feel like we all struggle with creating some type of simplicity. I think we live in a world where we're constantly bombarded with like being on social media, having a personal brand, showing up, sharing a part of your life. And being an entrepreneur, you know, your personal brand is like really important, right? To like your business and meeting clients. But how do you kind of navigate with wanting to create like a personal space for yourself and time for yourself to create simplicity, but also balancing that with kind of having to be the person that is on and, you know, about their business? How do you find that, you know, balance between those two things?
I don't know, Shannon, because I am, you know, I get energy off people, right? So I'm not necessarily the person that has to kind of separate the two. So, yeah, I get an energy off of people, and just being able to be of assistance like that, that kind of gives me life. It doesn't exhaust me. Yeah.
Yes.
My name is Katrina. I wanted to know, what's the first 5 things that you do when you wake up in the morning to start your day?
Like that you can share.
That I want to do or that I actually do. Okay, so these past few months, I'm happy you asked me this now and not like last year. Because these past few months, there has been a discipline that I have, like, you know, I've been in this space. So wake up, don't let my feet touch the ground until I say my prayers, right? Praying for everybody. And then I have a scripture that I read. That's 2. Okay. And then I get up, go to the door, see if Nia's light is on, see if she's up, if I have to go upstairs and wake her up or not. I open up my blinds so my plants could get some sunlight. And then I do the things to prepare to get out the house. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 hands in the back. We'll start all the way. Oh, well, no, Corinne. Yeah, we'll go with Corinne, and then we'll go back. Hey, we got all the friends here. We'll start with you, Corinne.
Good morning.
Hey, Corinne.
My question is, how are you intentionally stepping into your next season after your sabbatical? And how is now simplicity more important and on your forefront moving forward? Like, how are you doing things differently in this next season?
Yeah, so I am, like I said earlier, I am not being quick to say yes to anything, which is super hard and is very different from me, from what I typically do. And I'm stepping into this next season with just like wide open arms. I'm so excited about what's happening soon, as early as next week for myself. It's gonna really give me the opportunity to step outside of Richmond a bit. I wanna just kind of stretch and grow myself. When you're doing the work heads down all the time and you're being of assistance to so many other people, sometimes you lose sight that you too have to learn and grow, right? And so that's what this next season is about. It's going to be a bit uncomfortable because I'll be working with people that I've never met across the country. So excited about it. So just allow myself to be vulnerable and take advantage of this season of learning and growing.
Can I add to her answer? What I've witnessed is that Melody is taking great care of herself. And it's such simple words, but as women, why am I crying? I literally told myself I wasn't gonna cry today. But it's been beautiful to see you evolve yet again and take care of yourself.
Thank you.
And so I've been on this journey with Melody for a little over a decade, but in that, it feels different. You know somebody you know, but they feel different, right? Melody will take her walk, right? Years ago, I'm like, girl, you need to, she's telling me what to do now.
Yeah.
I used to say, oh girl, go get a massage. I don't like to do that. I don't think nobody touches me. When I tell you the intentionality of her taking care of herself is so prevalent in this new season. So what she shared earlier, the reading, the thinking about the decision, how does this not only serve me, but my family and those closest to me? And I don't say it in a selfish way of taking great care of herself, because her circle, I think we feel the effects of that, right? And so I just wanted to add in what I've observed, you know, specifically in this year, and the deep positive effects of what that, I think that's done for you, and then what we feel, even you allowing us to be on that journey with you. Yeah.
Thank you. Let me just say, this makes me think of, I told Lenise, one of my best friends here, and I said, girl, I just signed my other contract the other day. She's like, you know, you should be like, yeah. She's like, what does that mean? What's your schedule gonna be looking like now? Because I think they've gotten just used to, but this time has been beautiful. Yeah.
Absolutely. We have one more. Hey.
I just want to say thank you, Melody. I have seen you move as a person at the NBL. I've seen you move as a person at the night market. As an entrepreneur, as a creator, there's a lot of spaces that are here to take from us and to take our money and not support. And your work through the pandemic, your work through the night market, there were so many ways that you all were generous to surround all the people that were vulnerable and trying to figure out what the heck we were going to do. So I just want to thank you for your heart, thank you for your service. That's always been apparent, like why you do your work. And I've been a beneficiary of that, and I know many other people have, so thank you.
I'm not keeping track of time. Are we good? Look, we are? Okay, cool. I see 2 hands that we can do quick. We'll go to the back, and then we'll go to you with the beautiful hat on. Yes. Yes.
Hi, Melody. I wanted to know, as I know that as a single mom and an entrepreneur, it's easy to get to a point of burnout. So beyond self-care, how do you stay inspired? Because it seems like everywhere you show up, whatever you're doing is popping. So how do you stay inspired and creative with all the priorities?
I think like the travel, and I realize that that's a privilege too, but travel is so important to me. This is beyond the social media posts. Your ability to be able to connect with people in all parts of the world. For me, that's where I get a lot of my inspiration, right? And see, where other people creating markets, where other people creating spaces. This is my new word, that do not extract from our community. And so that's, I get inspiration from you all sitting here, not just abroad, here too at home, my friends, my family. But I think that when you are operating in your gift and in the space that you're supposed to be in authentically, I think that is what brings the people. They see who you really are if you allow yourself to be seen. Yeah.
Hello ladies, I'm Shantae. I followed both of y'all for a long time. I know Josh, worked with Early, and also Kelly, Jackson Work Collective, all the work y'all do. So it's great to see y'all up here being recognized because y'all are amazing. And y'all look beautiful, by the way. Because it's apparent that y'all have a village of connection. How do you use simplicity to keep that going and communicate to your circle, your transitions in life, and how you need their support, so how you build that, keep that going?
You're the superstar today, so I'll just back up.
I always love to push it over to Adrian. That's what she do. I am a person, I think that I'm just a connector of people, right? And so I welcome until you give me a reason to not welcome you. You don't, do you want to stay on the welcoming side? And that's just real because I love super hard and I'm so given, So it's not as complicated for me because I feel like my wealth, my currency has been my relationships.
Great question. I think with Melody and I in particular, Melody's best friend, Lenise, who was one of my best friends in middle school, actually connected us. Like, it just started small, And from day one, our business meetings have been in each other's homes, over food and wine, and with at least one little person running around. Yeah. First person was Nia, right? Then it was Naomi, my daughter. And now I think collectively with our night market team, we've got at least 8 kids, right, who are at the meetings, right? And so things that might feel complicated in more traditional spaces, spouses, kids, time. I mean, we are Sunday evening at whatever time we can get together, Monday on the walk. We are committed at not being each other's stress. We bring joy and ease to each other, even in building big, broad things, right? And I think the space that we've been able to create, that we've been intentional about creating together, speaks to that. The second question, I'll be honest, I do not do a great job of letting my village know when I need something. Melody's been one of a few people, because she will check on you. And will come to your house if you need. So I'm working on that. It's interesting that you asked that question. But I think one thing that I do when I do need that help and that balance, if asked, I will tell, right? And so the lesson there is ask, right? Ask your people that are doing the things, are you okay? What do you need? Yeah. I think we got time? Okay. Dom, and then if we can get Josh, we can.
Hello. So I wanted to ask you, I've watched you up close go through extreme adversity this year and have highs and lows. And I wanted to find out, how do you do it with so much grace?
To all the ladies in the place with style.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not gonna let people make me look crazy in these streets. It's like you always have to represent. Look at my dog. You always have to, yeah. That's the commitment for me. It's like I still have to show up as myself, and life is going life, so.
Yeah. I think another thing too, and we talked about it, but life is this continuation of moments, right? I mean, what happened this year and last year and 20 years ago and what your mom did and your grandma, it's a continuation. And so in each moment you have an opportunity to decide, despite what happened, how do I want to represent myself and my village, right? And I think Melody has really, when I think about Grace, has really kind of looked at that whole continuation. Like, I know what's happening right now, but what do I want 5 years to look like? And what do I want tomorrow to look like? And so I think being able to have that forethought has really ushered in that grace for you too, Melody. Hey, Josh.
Hey. This is a question for Melody. Do you ever just do nothing?
What does that mean, Josh?
I'll take that as a no.
I mean, I do like sit on the couch and drink my wine. Is that nothing? Or are you saying just lay there?
Well, I mean, you've talked a lot about work and you've talked a lot about community involvement and so on, and maybe your walks are sort of a do-nothing space.
Yeah.
But, where there's no spaces where, yes, you could just be laying there, but spaces where there's not, there are consequences to your actions. You're not responsible for someone or some event or whatever, where you're just existing, being, looking at the sunset, etc.
On my quarterly pauses,
Yeah.
I would say that's where that happens. But yeah, so it happens. But but not as often. But I like this. I would love to just lay there and like not do nothing.
Absolutely.
I think I can do it. You believe in me? Okay.
You got a village that's going to encourage you.
Let's hear it.
Michelle, can I just say I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you to everyone that's here today. I thought it would be like maybe 30 people or something. And so
We didn't tell her because she said she wasn't going to come.
so just thank you for starting your morning with us. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you.